guys, welcome back to my weekly TradeOps charting and tea. So today guys, I'll be showing to you some opportunities that I can see from the Philippine stock market, the US stock market, and the Forex market. So just to give you a background, I am using so-called smart money concepts in my trading. This is the kind of strategy that I don't use any kind of indicators. So just purely price action, price chart, and volume. So volume I use it if it is stocks, but for Forex I don't use any, just purely price. Okay, so before we start, let's start with the index. So let's check muna yung index Pilipinas. How is it doing now? We will check the 1-year price action. So basically we have here okay, let me try this one first. If the trend line is fine. Okay, so far so good. I'll just use the color black. Okay, so there is a breakup structure to the upside. We keep on breaking structure to the upside. That's basically uptrend. Well, here we have a breakup structure to the downside. So basically this kind of move is stopping out those traders who are long in the index. So stopping out all people or traders who are putting their stop losses here. So if you are long in this market, most probably you have your stop loss set somewhere here, right? Right now all of those were stop out, and we will analyze the lower time frame. What is the next possible move? Okay, so here I am using background blue without any border, blue border. Okay, this. Okay, so this will be our demand zone. So this is where the buyers are coming in. That's analysis using daily price chart, and we have here the high. So we mark with red. So basically the trend is up, and from here to here we see a down move, stopping out those traders who are long in this. So if we go to the lower time frame in order for us to see what is currently the price action, we have here a key resistance level. And we need to break this resistance level in order for us to say that the price might be heading here. Otherwise, what can happen is a sideways move between this resistance level to here, sideways, or we go down, or we break above this resistance level or supply zone in order to retest the high of that market structure. Okay, so we cannot see yet right now where is it heading. So for now I would say that this will do a sideways move. So price should so the daily price chart should close above this high for us to say that we are going for an up move. Otherwise, if we see here a rejection candle, we will again retest this area here. So let's refine our levels. Okay, so because I see here that there are two levels, we have an order block here. So this is our demand zone, first one, and the next one is the area where price seemed to open here, the low of that, plus this price where the price started to open. So price can retest that one like this, and price can move sideways and make a range. So this will be our target whenever the price will break above this and close above this supply zone. And the target will be here. This is another supply zone. We see an order block right here, so I mark that as red area. Okay, so we have two supply zones for the PSEI, and the second demand zone is right here. We have an order block with the gap. So here, this is our second demand zone. Okay, so yeah, and it makes sense because there are also other traders who are still long in this market, and they have their stop losses set here, and that stop losses weren't retested yet. Also here in this down move, there are stop losses here, assuming that there is a shorting in the PSEI. Those short trades would be setting their stop loss at the trend line. Okay, so that's PSEI projection. Alright, so right now let's try to find some good opportunities for the Philippine stock market for next week. Alright, and actually last week I every weekend I am issuing some weekly updates, TradeOps weekly updates on the Philippine stock market. And in this stock update, I am sending out around 3 to 5 stocks per week, which are good to buy for the next week. And last week, one of my best recommendations was the first one is CREIT. It's a newly listed stock in the Philippine market and focusing on the energy sector. So as you can see, during the first few days of the IPO, the stock already dropped from the open. It already went down with 8%. But as you can see at the daily chart, we find here some engulfing candles, which looks good. We also here retest of the engulfing, and we bounce from that, and another bull candle over here. So we have here buyers piling up in here. My only concern is that the lack of volume here. Volume mostly were entered here, but here we seem to have not too much volume. But if you are analyzing this in a bearish perspective, so we have here entered a very big volume, but the sell-off, so kasi nag-sell off to, so nag-sell off, but we have a very light volume of the sell-off, so which is indicating that there is not too much short interest on the stock. So most probably sooner or later you might be able to find some rise or increase in volume somewhere, so maybe not last week but maybe in the coming days. Should those volume appear in the coming days, then I would say that this is really a strong buy signal. Although without considering that volume, I already issued a buy signal on this stock when it was just trying to retest this last week. So we are in a daily right now, so you see from here it tried to pull back and then retested this order block. So we have an order block here right there, and if you go to the lower time frame, you see that exactly at that order block the price started to bounce. However, yeah, the volume of the buying seems to be weak, so I would expect that to still retest until such time we see significant amount of volume coming into this market. So I would say that it's a buy signal, and knowing that it's an energy sector, if you go to the Google and look for that CREIT, Citicore Energy Rate, so they are investing in alternative asset class that operates in crisis proof industry. So it's about renewable energy sector, so like solar power and others. So that is a very attractive attractive sector, attractive stocks, knowing that even now there is some global energy crisis. So that's why energy stocks are really skyrocketing right at this time. Right, renewable very important as well, because especially right now that the prices of crude oil is skyrocketing. So let's recall what happened to the oil price action in the past months. Okay, let me just delete all my drawings and let's focus on the daily chart. You see that since December we started to see really a double bottom here, indicating a buy signal for a pullback and then double bottom or W pattern, and then we skyrocketed. So since December the oil price already rose up with 84%. That's really significantly high, and it is also expected that it will still keep on rising up, especially right now with the conflict that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, so going back to the opportunities, this C rate is really a strong buy signal. We have our first profit target over here on the all-time high, and then the next take profit that I would recommend is extension. So what is the next take profit? So I will add two more take profits, 3 pesos per share and 3.17 pesos per share for C rate. So right at the moment the first target profit is around 10% from the current price. The next is 13.5% and 18%. And also for investing purposes, I would also recommend this for a medium term to long term investing opportunity, because the sector is very good, the company is also very good. Okay, so let's check another one that was one of the best recommended stocks that I have sent to my subscriber. So I have that weekly stock updates wherein my subscribers are receiving my weekly stock updates every weekend. And if you would like to subscribe on those on that stock update, feel free to write me via messenger, Facebook Messenger, or you may write to me via my email address for more information. This is my email address, okay? So you can contact me on this email address or write me directly via Facebook Messenger for if you would like to get my stock updates every weekend. Alright, so available subscription is 4 months, 6 months, and 1 year or more. Alright, so the next best recommendation that I have last week was ACEN. So as you can see, we have here double bottom formation. So here first one and then the second one here. So this is quite attractive. If we check the higher time frame weekly chart, you will see that we have broken a structure right around here, and we broke the structure, we pull back and then hunt for the order block. The order block is right around here, so this doji candle at the weekly, and it's pretty nice. So the weekly chart really looks very nice forming. So it's a pin hammer, pin bars, triple pin bars. This one looks like a pin bar and the doji as well altogether, with two white candles, weekly candles sandwiching that doji. So very nice. Confirmed buy signal will be here. So let's move to the daily. Daily is also showing a double bottom. So right now, actually, I am the financial advisor of my sister's, stock holdings in the Philippines, and this is one of the stock that I have recommended. But I have recommended her last week to buy at 8.15. So let me check whether the 8.15 was hit. So because I as far as I remember, that 8.15 was not hit. So 2 days. First day, second day. Okay, I'm not sure whether it was hit, but my recommended price was 8.15. So I think she could already buy that. So let me check. Thursday was March 24. So yes, I think it was hit because March 24 that I recommended and it pulled back 8.15 was hit. So she must be holding that stock already, ACEN. So the possible upside for ACEN is, of course, this high of the market structure, 12.96. So what is that? That's 55% on the current price, and I recommended the stop loss over here just below the low. So if you measure the risk to reward from that stop loss here and here, so we are looking for a 5.95 risk to reward ratio. So if you lose, so let's say you lose 1,000 for this trade, but your possible reward is almost 6,000. That's quite attractive. Alright, so ACEN, don't forget that, guys. But my recommendation, guys, for this trade is not to hold. If the price moves below 7.4, you should execute your stop loss. You should not keep on hoping and praying. Otherwise, another strategy that you can do, if you ever get stop out, there is still another point where you can actually re-enter. You can reattempt, because here this is the break of the structure, this is the origin of the break of structure. Then there is another one here, which is also a potential, which is also a demand zone. So if it fails to bounce here and make a materialized long position move, then it can happen that actually it's hunting for just this 7.0 levels. 7.0 levels, that would be your next buy opportunity, buy zone. But of course you put your stop loss just below that zone, which is 6.5, so you have a 0.5 pesos 5 cents of stop loss, while you have a lot of upsides here. So it's quite nice. We have a 4.7 pesos of target profit from here, from this current level. Right, so that's it about the Philippine market. And if you would like guys to get more from my recommended stocks which have a buy signal for the next week, again, feel free to directly message me in my Facebook, or write to me an email via this email address of mine, tradeops.channel@gmail.com. Alright, so right now let's move on to the US market, and let's focus on the index US30, because this is a highly tradable instrument in the US market, especially for the CFDs. But if you are trading the real index, you should be trading the SPX, so that is also good. Okay, anyway, let's analyze the US30. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Index. Alright, so let's analyze. So the 1-year price action using a daily price chart. Okay, so we have here this move, this trend line, and the price broke structure to the downside. So here we have an uptrend, and now there is a break of structure to the downside, and then we put a pin hammer candle here. Why? Because we have here a demand zone, so this might be our low of the year, or low of the year. So we are already in March, and you see this is March 2021, so we already retested that low of the 1 year or 52 week. Then we have a bounce from that, and beside that we have here a break of structure, pin hammer, break of the structure to the downside. However, the candle that formed after the break is quite like a bull candle, followed by a higher low formation here. So we have now this is a W pattern, so indicating a possible upward movement. Where is our target? So by the way, we have here trend line, which indicates that there are many short positions, stop losses somewhere here. So stop loss is here at the high of the month, where I will indicate it with the red area. We also stop losses here at the high of the structure. So the price can move to stop out those traders who have stop losses here or here. So the high of the market structure. Okay, so We have left an order block right here. This order block, which will be our buy zone or demand zone, can be a potential entry point whenever the price will head back inside the range, inside the structure. So right now we have a breakup structure with solid candle, solid close. That's a good indication that the price can still go higher and higher. But if ever the price will move back to the previous market structure, then this is the point where you can buy. This will be an attractive level to buy. So at very close to the low of the previous week. So you see here the red line. That's the low of the previous week, and this is the high of the previous week. Alright, so yeah, so this one here is the low of the previous month. So that can be also an opportunity to look for levels, important key levels to watch whenever price move back to retest these zones, looking for a bounce and a rally. Okay, it's not happening now, but I'm just telling you guys what are the levels to be aware. So remember that smart money always hunt for where is the liquidity. There is a liquidity in this trend line. There is a liquidity in this this downward trend line, because there are shorters who are placing stop losses on the trend line. Okay, so yeah, that's my projection for the US30. And if we go to the 4-hour chart, just take a look closer. Okay, what I see here is a break of the trend line, pullback. It pulled back to the order block, and the price hold above that order block. So which is our minor demand zone. Price keeps on holding on that order block, and actually here we have a breakup structure, pullback, and now we are testing this minor supply zone. So if the price moves above this high, we'll be looking for a long trade to go here, or you wait for a pullback for the price to come here on this order block with imbalance. So okay, so if you would like to learn, guys, this technique what I'm using for analyzing the market in the concepts of so-called smart money, then in the context of the smart money, then feel free to write me via my email or directly message me here in Facebook. Alright, so let's check 1 hour. So okay, the 1 hour is indicating that still there is some really strong sellers on this area. So supply zone. So how it moved so far in the past trading day, it's actually a move which topped out all the traders who have shorted this market in last March 23. March 23 was Wednesday. That market established the high of the week, and then price during the New York session have shunted all stop losses which are sitting on top of that high to make the downward move. You'll appreciate it more if you are going to a lower time frame. So imagine that you are putting a day trade which is based on the previous day high and low. So that move is actually a 4R. So you have a very tight stop up just right above the the supply zone, right above the candle formation here. See, you have a bearish pin bar. You put your stop loss a little bit above the pin bar, and you look for a target profit at this equal low over here. So I will indicate it with the black area because I indicate black area as liquidity. So liquidity sits on the equal low or equal high. See that? That was the target last Friday. And then try to consolidate, go up, retest, and then move up. So indeed, this is really a great opportunity. If you are able to spot this kind of key levels and matching it with the smart money concepts, you will really be able to have more confidence in trading any kind of market. Alright, so but now what I can say at the higher time frame, if you look at the 4-hour and then 1-hour, you see that there is this engulfing. So here the sellers are very strong. Most probably the price will retest this high of the previous day, which eventually was actually the high of the previous week. So this will be the high of the previous week. So most of the time what happened is that if we have here established the high of the week, so this is the high of the week, which I will indicate now with red. So let's eliminate that orange area now, and we focus on the high of the previous week. You would trade that in the coming days. That we have here stop hunt area just right above the previous week high and previous day high at the same time. So most of the time the price shunts all those traders who have a short position on this previous day, and then price will come back. So that is my trade plan for next week, to wait for the price to stop out all traders who have placed their stop losses above that. Then I will go for a short position. And as you can see, it makes sense because even the trend is still downtrend. And if you recall, I told you that the trend lines is a liquidity. So many people anticipates that that once price breaks the trend line, the price will now eventually rally upwards. So this is the retail mindset, but I'm not using a retail mindset. I'm using smart money concept strategy. So this kind of strategy is actually the strategy that the banks, hedge funds, and big trading firms are using for trading, for making or capitalizing on the retail trading techniques. Okay, so that's US30. Then let's go with the, let's say, pound USD, so one of the Forex major pairs. Pound USD. Let's check first the higher time frame. So this pound USD, so at the 1 year time frame, pound USD keeps on breaking structure to the downside. Very obvious, so it's a downtrend. Keep on breaking structure to the downside, plus there is that trend line here which is sloping downward, again downtrend. You see also this trend line, this is the trend line for people who are long in the market, and suddenly the price stopped out all people who are placing their stop loss here. those people who put their stop loss here because they were long, they think that it is already bouncing and it will eventually move up. So that is the retail type of trading. Okay, so we are using smart money concepts. Now we know that in smart money, liquidity are sitting in many forms. So trend line, equal low and high. So for example, this one, this is an equal low. And what else? Here, equal low. So but we have here a breakup structure to the upside, but since this one is still bearish, we are not expecting that price will just keep on rising up. So price can still move back to retest the low, where there is that low of the previous week is here. We have your liquidity sitting on here. Those people who are thinking that this market is now bouncing, there are stop losses over here. Okay, so price can still go back to hunt for those stop losses. Okay, so let's and by the way, there are order blocks. So this from here to here, it's a downtrend, right? So you know, market is fractal. So when you say uptrend and downtrend, it depends that which time frame or which time duration are you referring, because here it's an uptrend, but here to here it's a downtrend. So when the price is downtrend, we obviously see breakup structure to the downside, break up the structure to the downside, and while it's breaking structures, it's leaving so-called order blocks or imbalances in the market as well. So I label them with red areas. Okay, so let's go to the 4-hour time frame. What can we see? The price, while it's trying to move upward, it retested this breakout point, which is somewhere here. It's a very important point there that the shorters came in. Why? If we go to the 1-hour chart, you'll see here something you might see. So yeah, because there is actually an order block sitting here before the breakup structure. So there's an order block, price tapped that order block and formed a short opportunity. Also at the same time, this area is actually liquidity. This is actually the previous high of the day, and that's one of my playbook trades, hunting for the previous high and low. And if we focus on this area, you'll see at 15 minutes much finer, refined opportunity. You see that after it taps the supply zone where there is that order block, it taps once and then twice, and then the third time, which is heading to the London Open, the short opportunity came. So if you have shorted that, which actually I did in the last week, you have here's your stop loss. That's a 5.8 hour just for one day, and if you were holding the trade in the next day as well, it could have also reached 6.8 hour. Alright, so yeah, so on consolidation, and see that there is another opportunity using the previous day high and low. Price heading to the London Open made some short opportunity when the price traded above the previous day, then short. So that opportunity is 3.6 hour opportunity, And if you have ever you missed that to enter at the London session, there is also another entry opportunity at the US market session. So in here, so it's the same short opportunity. So you can see now, guys, that how important it is to be mindful about the previous day high and low, and how market reacts on those important key levels. So I hope, guys, it was very helpful to you for those people who are just trying to learn now the price action and smart money concepts. But if you ever want to learn more about the deeper and the much more detailed strategy, then feel free to write me on this email of mine, or you may directly message me on my Facebook account, Facebook Messenger, or wherever you are. You can see these videos, YouTube, whatever. Okay, thanks, guys, and have a great trading week for next week. God bless.